So I was at the Nonprofit Association of Washington's annual fundraising conference. This was the in-person session. It was held in Tacoma. It was an absolute great day. I had some really good conversations with folks, learned some interesting things. But one comment just made it to the top of the list of things I needed to talk about this week. And it was a comment my friend Jesse made after a session. Jesse came up to me and said, if one more person tells me to diversify my fundraising stream, I am going to jump into the sound. Now, I don't want Jesse to jump into the sound. I don't want anyone to jump into the sound. And as someone who has probably given that advice before, I felt a little guilty. So I thought a good topic for today's video would be to really answer the question, how do you do that, right? Telling a nonprofit to diversify your fundraising stream is kind of like telling someone who wants to work out, oh, just work out, or someone who wants to improve their life, oh, just try eating better. Like, it sounds like advice. It's like almost advice, but there's no really there. There's no direction to it. So I wanted to come up with 3 quickish things you can do to diversify your fundraising stream, assuming you're not starting from scratch. If you're starting from scratch, if you have no fundraising program, it's a whole different conversation. But if you've got a fundraising program and you feel like you are over-indexed on public funding or you're too reliant on special events, here's 3 things you could consider doing that might help you break some of these systems and pursue an actual strategy as opposed to just me telling you, hey, you should raise more money. Have you tried raising money? That's not fundraising advice. Anyway, the first thing is start thinking about individuals. Who are the individuals who already know about your organization? Not just necessarily donors, but they can be volunteers, they can be community partners, they can even be clients. Having conversations with individuals is where an individual giving program starts. And these conversations with individuals aren't necessarily direct solicitations. They may be conversations about how they feel connected to the mission, about what elements of your mission speaks to these people. That's how you're going to start building the language you use when you talk to donors, and how you try to build the habit of picking up the phone and calling people who know about your mission and talking to them. And from there, you can grow from there. You can grow from into monthly giving, into major giving, into legacy giving, into building all sorts of networks. But none of that stuff will happen, and none of that stuff starts from zero. It all starts with something small, which again I think is, how many times are you calling individuals, calling donors, calling supporters, thanking them for what they do, and engaging them in conversation about your cause, about your mission, about how they see themselves in that. So that's step 1. Step 2, talking about corporate donors. Now, I have a whole series of thoughts about corporations and corporate giving, which we'll save for another time. But one way to engage or to build a corporate giving system is, again, let's think about individuals. Do you have a volunteer opportunity or opportunities for corporations? Many corporate donors are really looking for volunteer opportunities. So that can be a way to start building that outreach. And the second thing is, start with who you already know, right? Start with, who are those organizations that you're working with as vendors? Who are those organizations that are physically close to your organization? And who are those organizations or those corporations whose employees may be beneficiaries of your services? So start thinking about, how can I connect? How can I have conversations? How can I learn what the philanthropic priorities of these corporations are? And how can I show them that their priorities are aligned with our priorities? You'll note a theme in the first 2 objectives here. It's about having the conversation and not thinking that you need to go from, we have a very small program to we need to have like a massive $1 million program right away. Like, if you think that's the problem, you will be really intimidated to find an answer. The third way, and this is self-serving, is you gotta get some outside help. There's consultants like me who would love to talk to you about some really concrete ways, not only to diversify funding, but to change the way you're thinking about fundraising, change the way you're thinking about engaging your board, engaging your volunteers. There's lots of great things you can be doing, but maybe you don't see it because you're so close to the problem. And it's really hard to see the solution when you're so close to the problem. Sometimes hiring a consultant or bringing in someone to give you some of that perspective helps because they're coming with that new ideas, they're coming with a new perspective, and they might be able to give you some guidance. So if you'd like to get started talking about how to diversify your fundraising, I'd certainly love to talk to you. But more importantly, if you're not sure where to start, if you're not sure what to do, pick up that phone, make that call, have those conversations, and see where that leads you. Because while the systems that support philanthropy are under constant attack by this administration, I do not believe that generosity is under attack. I believe people are still generous, but we need to invite them in, we need to talk to them, and give them that opportunity to show us how generous they can be. All right, that's all for now. Keep up the great work. Talk to you soon.